Okay, so after we've let it sit up overnight, it will be a little bit firmer. Now we need to make our cut for our cell phone. And because I'm recording this video on my cell phone, I don't have one to use as an example. So this Post-it notepad is going to act as our cell phone. What you want to do is just make sure that your cell phone is going to fit in the little slots. And you want to remember that when clay dries, when we fire the clay in the kiln, both times, every time it's going to shrink a little bit. The shrinkage is about 20%. We're not going to try to figure that out, but just so you're aware, you want to make your slit bigger than you think it needs to be. So I'm going to use the pin tool and just cut a slit nice and straight to the size that I think it needs to be. And scoop that out. You can do a little test. Okay, pretty good. But you really want to clean it up, and you're going to have to probably check it a few times as it's drying. My clay is pretty wet still. I'm cheating and I didn't let it sit overnight for the sake of the video. But like I said, here's my cell phone. It can fit in there depending on where your speakers are, will determine how far you actually need to come down the sides. But just remember, the farther you take it down, the weaker this area is going to become. So just be careful. Try to keep everything pretty neat at this point. We can do a lot of the cleanup after you get your major components on. So I have my slit. My pretend cell phone fits in there. You may have to pull your paper out just to check it. Now is the point where you're going to add on any type of decorations. What's really important when you add things onto your cell phone speaker is that you attach them correctly. If I just like set this on here, there's a 99% chance that it's just going to pop off at some point. So the correct way to attach things clay to clay is to do something called slipping and scoring, or scoring and slipping, I should say. Basically what we're going to do is, I like to kind of refer to it as Velcro. On one side, on my little piece here, I'm going to basically do like cross hatching, so it kind of roughs up the clay. And then on my actual piece, wherever I want to attach it, I'm going to rough it up also. And in most cases you use like gooey clay, which kind of looks like peanut butter. It acts as a glue. A little bit of water will work too. So whatever we have, put the slip or the water on one piece, and then you really need to kind of screw it on. So really push it on there so it attaches nice and strong. Then you can go in with some tools and clean up any kind of mess that it makes. And it's nice and sturdy on there. So again, here's my piece. I'm going to do a little bit of cross-hatching action wherever I want it on here. Do a little bit of cross-hatching action. Take a little bit of water or slip, and then basically screw it on. So those are attached really well. There's lots of different kind of tools you can use on your amplifier. You don't have to keep this nice and smooth if you don't want. You could use some type of tool to create some texture. Maybe I want to make some texture out of this kind of shape. Do something with a little bit more brown, make it look like little petals. What's neat about doing texture is that once we get to the glaze, which is the glossy glass color stuff, the glaze will kind of catch in these little crevices and create more interest. Alright, So this is about as much as I can do today because it is so wet. So once this firms up, we can go around, clean everything up. You'll be able to pull this out and clean up the inside with some tools that I'll show you how to do at a later time. So remember, anytime that you want to attach something, you need to make sure you're doing the scoring and the slipping, which is the cross hatching, and using a little bit of water or glue.